Hey y'all, Michelle Raza here with the Finding Yourself Book Club, and today we're going to continue talking about John Gottman's What Makes Love Last. In the last video, we started talking about turning toward each other and what that means, how to repair conflicts. Today we'll go into a little bit more detail on what is a bid. If you haven't checked out our website, please do so. We're at www.findingyourselfsatx.com. There you can fill out a free life balance questionnaire and send it to us to have your first initial free consult. You can also just send us an email, text, or call us, and your first consult is always free. So I do also recommend you look up Gottman on Google. He has an institute and a lot of free resources that you can check out to help your relationships. A lot of his research before he went into even couple stuff or romantic stuff was on parent-child relationships. So for those of you that have started following me because of Gibson's works, John Gottman is very experienced in all of that stuff too. So check out his website. He has card decks that you can download and start, doing love mapping with your partner. He has the Marriage Minute where you can receive twice a week just quick tips. And at the bottom of those emails, there's a podcast called Small Things Often, and that's less than 5 minutes each podcast that gives you all of the tips that are in this book, in all of his books actually, because it's all his research-based materials. But I'm happy to cover it with you guys too. It really does bring me a lot of passion and happiness to hear your comments and to have people from all different places around the world. That's the cool thing about the internet, right? Chatting with someone from France about how Gibson's works have really helped him. So this is all very exciting stuff. Okay, excuse me, I keep clearing my throat. Okay, we're talking about bids here. Not all small bids are spoken or obvious. A wife who is making the bed may ask her husband to change the pillowcases, or she may just sigh as he walks by. Attunement means paying attention to your partner's subtle cues. It also means making your wishes clear so your partner can read you. You don't always have to comply with the request, but you should respond with love and sensitivity. Here is a ranking of minor bids that create sliding door moments based on statistical analyses of couples observed in the Love Lab. My team noted how frequently partners made each type of bid and how the other tended to respond. Bids that were made frequently and usually met with a positive response we deemed easy and placed near the bottom of the ladder. Those that were asked infrequently and had a relatively low success rate we deemed difficult, and they earned high rungs on our bidding scale. Keep in mind that this is just a list of minor bids, the kind that are easy to handle if you're aware of them. 1. Pay attention to what I say. I read that. I'm not telling you. Here, pay attention to what I say. How do I look? Wow, did you see that both? That's one type of bid. 2, respond to my simple requests. While you're up, could you get me the salsa? Help me or work with me. Let's get Janie into bed now. Show interest or active excitement in my accomplishments. Do you think I did well? Answer my questions or requests for information. Can you help me fill out this form? Chat with me. Let me tell you what happened when my mom called. Share the events of your day with me. What happened at work? Respond to my joke. Did I tell you the one about? Help me de-stress. I think I blew my presentation today. Help me problem solve. What do you think I should do about my boss? Be affectionate. Come here and cuddle with me while I read. Play with me. Hey, let's get out the Monopoly board. Join me in an adventure or exploration. Do you want to hike up Turtleback tomorrow? Join me in learning French lessons. Join me in learning something. Let's take French lessons. Once you recognize when your partner is making a bid, the next step, of course, is to turn toward him or her. This doesn't say you must say oui to learning French or anything else. You just need to respond in a manner that shows you're there. You really want to learn French? Wow, where'd that come from? So I feel like so what he's talking about when he says a bid, it's just a request for connection. Depending on how you grew up, I grew up in forgive me, right, if my family's watching, right, but I grew up in an emotionally immature household where culturally we have indirect communication. And so a lot of this, if you look at it, if you hear it, they're indirect ways of saying, hey, I need some attention here. That's kind of what a bid is. I want to connect. It's a request for connection. Now, in the next video, we're going to go into repair attempts. So that's a whole separate thing, right? After you have some type of what Gottman calls regrettable incident, how do you make it better? But before you get to that point, it's just understanding and acknowledging what a bid is, and it's a request for connection. So you can make bids as part of a repair attempt, but you can also, this is where he calls the sliding door moment. So if you have a bid that goes dismissed, ignored, or unanswered, you're basically saying, hey, I want to connect with you, and then the other person said, no thanks, right? Not interested. And so what he's trying to get us to identify here is anytime that someone is trying to get your attention, right? Pay attention to what I say. So a question like, how do I look? Did you see that thing over there? Asking you for a favor, working together on something, just a way to connect. And so some of this just seems really common sense, like someone's trying to connect with you when they try to have a conversation with you. So, if you're looking at your phone or your computer, put it down, look at them and talk to them. Like, you think that would be common sense, but I've worked with a lot of people who that's not so common sense, right? Part of what they're complaining about is how they request attention or affection from their partner and it goes unnoticed or dismissed. So a lot of what Gottman's talking about, right, his research began well before the era of smartphones, but it's the same thing, right? In the old world, you have your newspaper up and you refuse to look up from the newspaper when your partner's trying to talk to you. It's being interested in each other's inner world. What makes them tick, what is important to them. And so especially if you're both working, you're both, trying to deal with your children, you're very stressed out, it may be very easy to just be like, oh, well, I have this presentation, I can't pay attention to that right now. And that creates a regrettable incident. It may not be a fight, right? Maybe you didn't fight about it, but your partner wanted to connect and you didn't respond. Or vice versa, you wanted to connect and your partner didn't respond. And so that's why Gottman talks about it's super important to have the State of the Union. He talks about the stress reducing conversation at the end of the day. But all this stuff is much easier said than done. I mean, I think we just spent 3 videos on the stress reducing conversation, specifically because for many couples, the stress reducing conversation is a stress inducing conversation. Because when you want to tell your partner, you want to connect with them, they respond in a way that actually causes a conflict. So again, all this stuff is very easy to talk about in a very relaxed setting where nobody's fighting, and it's much harder to actually put in practice. So in no way am I trying to preach to you. I've lived it. It's very difficult. And there's only so much you can do on your own. So my recommendation, again, I'll say it again, if anytime any one of the 2 partners recommends or requests counseling, go get it. Go get counseling. And second, it does take 2. You can ruin it by yourself, but you can't fix it by yourself. So it does take 2 people to make a relationship last. I know that there's some people out there who are in polyamorous relationships. However many people are in the relationship, it takes all of them to make it last, to make it work. So next video we will cover, so we talked about bids at a high level, talked about some example of bids. Next video we will start talking about how to repair and go high level over the 2 different types of repairs. If you haven't checked out our website, please do so. We're at www.findingyourselfsatx.com. I really enjoy all of your comments. Please like, subscribe, tell your friends. One day I would love to be able to do this full time, one day far in the future, I think, but happy to help however I can. So please check out our site, contact me, book an appointment, and we'll be in touch.